Talk about the constant variety of sport. You'll certainly see it today on Wide World as we span the globe from California to Switzerland by way of Mexico and Columbus, Ohio. You're in Pomona, California right now at the Winternational Drag Racing Championships. You'll see them today. Almost half a world away in glamorous St. Switzerland, you'll see the dashing gentlemen sportsmen who pursue the dangerous sport of Cresta toboggan racing. They'll be competing for the Coppa d'Italia in the International Toboggan Championship. Also, a report on the mammoth welcome home by 100,000 people this week in Vienna for ski racer Karl Schran.
The sport that drew 5.5 million spectators last year with prize money $2 million.
Good afternoon, I'm Bud Palmer. And as Jim McKay mentioned, this is truly a wide world of sports, spanning the globe with a variety of sports. Now, I'm in Pomona, California, located some 33 miles east of Los Angeles for the 12th Winternational Drag Racing Championships. We had 750 entries, with vying for over $250,000 in prize money. Now, we'll be concentrating on the top three classes. The top fuel eliminator class, we expect speeds of around 230 miles an hour. Funny cars, speeds of around 212 miles an hour. And pro stock, speeds of around 144 miles an hour. That is from a standing start in a quarter of a mile. Believe me, that is some charge from the gate. Now, earlier this morning, in the top fuel eliminator class, first on the track was the defending champion and top qualifier, Don Garlits.
In the near lane, Big Daddy Don Garlits had the best qualifying time, 228 miles per hour, facing Jim Warren on the outside, who qualified 17th. There they go. And a big upset here. Jim Warren defeats the defending champion, Don Garlits. We asked him why.
Don Garlits, the defending champion here out in the first round. What happened, Don?
Well, the engine was a little bit cold, and I had the right lane, and they had oiled that real bad yesterday, and I just left with a little bit too low RPM, misjudged the starting line surface, and it pulled the engine right down. There was a tremendous traction up there. I could have left any way I wanted, but it was the first pairing of the first round, and it's very difficult to judge the starting line on that at that time. I just guessed wrong.
I might add that Jim Warren lost in the next round to Dwight Salisbury. Okay, here's the first pair up for the quarterfinals. In the near lane in yellow there is Don Prudhomme of Granada Hills, California, who holds the unofficial record at 235 miles per hour. And there's his opponent in the blue and white car. It is Gary Cochran from Fountain Valley, California. Now, this graph here shows you exactly how they pair off. It's like a tennis tournament, matched battles to the finals. Prudhomme, one of the favorites on the inside. He qualified third here. Gary Cochran qualified 15th. There's Gary in the blue and white car. And the start, and Prudhomme, both of them go up in smoke, meaning they lost traction. It might be an upset here, and Cochran is the winner. 7.52, 181.08 miles per hour. Don Prudhomme, 7.63 seconds. 213.77 miles per hour, but it's not the fastest, it's the quickest that wins. Let's take a look at it again. Now, what I meant is Don Prudhomme went up in smoke. You see all the vapors coming up behind him. That is when he lost traction. His tires were spinning instead of grabbing on the surface, and that cost him the race. A tremendous upset here. But once again, it's the quickest down the quarter-mile strip, not the fastest. So Don Prudhomme is out, along with Don Garlits. Both are extremely disappointed, and upsets here in the quarterfinals of the top fuel eliminator. There's the winner, Gary Cochran. And here's Don Prudhomme.
Yeah, it just didn't hold. The tires didn't hold. It just went up in smoke. I seen him. He moved, though, after he let it up, didn't he?
Both at the same time.
Huh?
In and out of
Who? He was. So was I. I was hoping he'd shut off.
Two big upsets in the top fuel eliminator class. Back in a moment with more of the quarterfinals. Before we continue with the quarterfinals, this is a front-engine top fuel dragster, sometimes known as a rail. It's the most sophisticated fuel-burning car. You might say the sport's special breed of acceleration machine. It produces upward of 1,500 horsepower in less than 7 seconds, and speeds at the end of a quarter of a mile of 230 miles per hour from a standing start. Their basic costs range from $15,000 to $25,000. They rely on exotic fuels like nitromethane for maximum performance. Now, this is a rear engine top fuel eliminator. Two-time champion Don Garlits introduced the rear engine eliminator last year when he won. Now, as with Indy cars, the trend is toward a rear engine eliminator, but for a different reason. At Indy, it was handling. Here, it's safety. After flying parts from an exploding transmission cut off part of his right foot, Don Garlits perfected the rear engine eliminator, and others have followed. Okay, now continuing with the quarterfinals. This is Dale Funk in the far lane, qualified 28th against Ken McLean, who qualified 24th. Ken McLean from Edmonton, Canada, in the near lane. And Ken McLean does not leave the line. Broke down. Dale Funk, a very easy run, holding up his arm. He gets into the semis. He doesn't hurt his engine at all. A very easy run. And swinging in for his quarterfinal against Carl Olson, this is Dwight Salisbury, who qualified 25th from Northridge, California. He's going to bleach his tires or burn them out. Coming in now is Carl Olson on the far lane, Dwight Salisbury in the blue car. Now watch this process. You can see them pouring the stuff out of the bottle. Now they'll rev up there, and that's to clean up his tires, but also to heat them up. And in that bottle is a fancy combination of bleach, latex, methanol, glue. You have it. It's probably in there. This is Carl Olson, who's 28 years old. Qualified 29th, as I mentioned, in the far lane. Dwight Salisbury in the near lane with the wing on top of his car. Buster Couch all set to give them the start. Here they go! A tight race. Salisbury's in trouble. I believe he lost the top of his wing. It bounced right across into Carl Olson's lane. There it is. Very lucky that Carl Olson was out ahead, or that could have caused serious damage to him or his car. But Olson was the winner, Dwight Salisbury losing that wing. Here it is once again. Now watch Dwight Salisbury as he comes down here. Watch that wing very carefully to see what happened to him. There it goes, whips right across into Olson's lane. By the way, Olson's time was 6.63. 222.22 miles per hour. He is the winner, goes into the semifinals. Now we have Dennis Baca from Walnut Creek, California. He was the second top qualifier here with a speed of 231 miles per hour. He's in the blue and gold helmet, once again burning out his tires. And he'll be against Don Moody, who has the white helmet on here from Westchester, California. He qualified 6th at 228 miles per hour. That's Moody with the white helmet, Baca with the blue helmet. Baca's very confident, said his clutch is working beautifully, expects to really go a far way in this top eliminator championship here at Pomona. There are the starting signals. Watch for the green. There it is, they're off. Dennis Baca's out ahead, a beautiful start. Moody's in trouble, he's swerving all over the track. And Moody is on fire. He'll get out of that car as quickly as he can because the nitro could really explode. But there's the beauty of a rear-engine car. The fire is behind him, not in front of him. Dennis Baca, the winner, 6.56, 231.95 miles per hour.
How's it running, Dennis? Just perfect. Like it hadn't even run yet. It's in good shape. We're ready to win this thing.
In the semis, it'll be Dennis Baca facing Dale Funk, Carl Olson against Gary Cochran. Back with the Pro Stock semifinals in just a moment. Bud Palmer back with the Winternational Drag Racing Championships in Pomona, California. We're getting ready for the Pro Stock Car semifinals, and here's how they go. It's Arlen Banke against Don Grothier, and Bill Grumpy Jenkins faces Don Carlton. Now, this is a Pro Stock car, which is quite similar to an average family car, except that major internal modifications are permitted to the engine, which must be the same make as the car. Oh, you can replace such items as the hood and fenders with lightweight components, but the steel body shell must be retained, and there's the all-important tachometer. These cars move up to 140-mile-an-hour range in 1/4 of a mile. And here's something unique, the wheelie bars to keep the front end from rising too high. A beautiful-looking piece of machinery. And here's Arlen Banke of Akron, Ohio. He'll be in the far lane in yellow. He's facing Don Grothier in this red, white, and blue car from Oklahoma City, a former champion here. Here we go. There's the yellow and the green, and they're off. A good start, tight race. That's Vanke in yellow. Grothier on the inside. Grothier is pulling up, and Grothier is just going to make it. The time for Grothier, 9.79, 141.00 miles per hour. Bill Grumpy Jenkins in white against Don Garlits of Royal Oaks in the black car there. This is the other semifinal. Bill, a former champion here in a light car with a small V8. They're all set to go. There's the start. They're off. A beautiful start by Bill Jenkins. Garlits coming after him. Looks like Jenkins all the way. And he's the winner, 9.70, 140.62 miles per hour. So it's Jenkins and Grothier in the final rounds of the Pro Stock. Right now, let's switch to the quarterfinals of another class, the funny cars. And here are the quarterfinal pairings. These cars hit speeds of 214 miles an hour, cost as high as $30,000. Now to the bleach box. After cleaning and heating his tires comes Pat Foster. That's his opponent in the blue car, Tom McEwen. This is Pat on the far lane in the red car. He was the top qualifier, 212 miles per hour. And Tom McEwen qualified 5th. Foster from Tarzana, California. Tom McEwen from Fountain Valley, California. Moving up to the start. It's going to be coming up momentarily. There it is. Tom McEwen's off first. Pat Foster's trying to catch him with the red car. Pat Foster's coming up, and at the finish, it is Pat Foster. 6.69 is the time. 220.04 miles per hour. Here come the next quarterfinalists. That's Roger Lindemood. And look at those tires as they spin them. They really rise. The front end goes way down. The back end goes up. Here's his opponent, Dale Poldy in the red car. He'll be on the outside lane from Wilmington, California. Poldy qualified 7th. Roger Lindemood qualified 11th. Both pulling up to the starting line now. Lindemood in the blue car. There they go! And Lindemood just goes up in smoke. Too much horsepower, and he lost traction or bite. An easy win for Dale Poldy. And back with more of the quarterfinals of the funny cars after this message. Before we continue with the funny car quarterfinals, I'd like to say that funny cars are a sophisticated exotic fuel dragster masquerading as a family car. The body is even plastic, and the horsepower, 1,500 horses. Now, early we talked to one of our semifinalists. Pat Foster, exactly what is a funny car?
Well, the name funny car arrived, in 1965, where we started altering the wheelbases on some of the stock cars, but they just had something that made people say, boy, that car looks a little funny. Basically, the controls inside of the car are such that this is your rear wheel brakes, your hand brake system here. This handle down here between my legs activates the reverser. It either in the forward position the car goes forward, in the backward position it goes backwards. My left foot's on the clutch pedal. This control between my legs is a shifter. You go from low gear to high gear. It's a 2-speed only system, and you just push it forward in about the middle of the course, and you'll go from low gear to high gear. And these are probably the most important thing to the driver inside the car, and that's your fire system. And they're set before we make a run, and in the advent of a fire of any serious nature at all, then the driver lets go of the steering wheel and crosses his arms and hits the 2 black knobs, which automatically sets off a system that's plumbed throughout the entire car, that plumbs the fire system to any place in the car there may be a fire. Up here we've got our parachute releases, which are a dual chute system on this particular car. Some guys run 1, some guys run 2. I stagger the handles just enough that I can pick a chute to pull, even if I want to pull one, or I can pull them both. And over here we got a fuel shut-off, which in the advent of a fire also, you hit your fire system and close the fuel shut-off system. And down buried where you can't even see it is a magneto switch. It's just a basic on and off toggle switch. And basically that's about it.
Continuing now with the funny car quarterfinals, this should be a beauty. There's the defending champion, Butch Moss from Santa Rosa, California. The blue car with the red trim, and there's the starter, Buster Couch. And Butch Moss will be facing Ed the Ace McCullough. That's McCullough from Clovis, California, winner of the 71 National Funny Car class. They're approaching the starting line. That's Moss on the near side. And there's the start. They're off fairly equally, a very close race. And it looks like McCullough takes the lead. McCullough wins it. His time, 6.65, 217.91 miles per hour. Here's another quarterfinal pairing. Swinging into view now is Jim Dunn from La Mirada, California, in the red car. It's the only rear-engine funny car in the competition here. He'll be facing Jake Johnson of Fort Worth, Texas, who'll be in the blue car. Now watch him spin his wheels and watch them rise, coming out of the bleach box. In that bleach box to clean the wheels and heat them up is latex, glue, bleach. Everybody has their own concoction. That is Jake Johnson from Fort Worth, Texas, there in the blue car in the near lane as we switch back to Jimmy Dunn in the red car. They're off. Dunn got the start, but Jake is coming up on him on the near lane. Johnson at the end is the winner. Jake Johnson, 6.94, 178.92 miles per hour. So here's how our semifinals stand. It'll be Pat Foster, the top qualifier, against Dale Poldy, and Ed McCullough will face Jake Johnson, and the first prize is close to $11,000. Thanks, Keith. Back here for the semifinals of the funny cars once again in Pomona, California. That is Dale Poldy, who'll be in the near lane on the left-hand side, and they're both red cars. He'll be facing Pat Foster, who just ran the fastest time here of the day, 220.04 in the quarterfinals. Now here's how the two match races line up here, and to the winner, $10,675. That is Pat Foster in the red car. He'll be on the outside lane. He has the yellow streak down the side of it against Dale Poldy, also in a red car. Now both of them are taking their time warming up here. They're going out of the bleach box, cleaning off those tires. Here comes Pat Foster, who had the top qualifying time here. But they're going back and forth quite a bit, and that is cooling off the tires. And if you get too much horsepower and those tires cool up, you might go up in smoke, lose traction. We'll see what happens here. They faced each other just a few weeks ago, and Dale Poldy won that one. Poldy on the inside, Foster on the far lane. There they go, and look at the smoke behind Pat Foster. He's going up in smoke, losing traction. Looks like Poldy all the way, and Poldy is the winner. His time, 7.57, 181.08 miles per hour. And once again, it's not the speed at the end of the course that wins, it's the lapse time over the quarter mile. And that's why the start is so desperately important. There's our winner, Dale Poldy, going into the finals. Here's our other semifinal pair. That's Ed McCullough right there, coming out of the bleach box. He'll be facing Jake Johnson. There's Johnson. Wait a minute, he lost his chute. Both these cars are blue. That's Jake Johnson in the near lane. Now, whether he can run or not, I don't know. They're trying to get... No, they're not going to put it back in. They're just going to take it off. Now, it's the question of whether he can run without a chute or not, because it's quite dangerous. You probably reach 200 miles an hour at the other end. Buster Couch, the starter's asking, can he go? And they're saying, yes, he can. So here we go. Jake Johnson versus Ed McCullough. And there's a red light on the right-hand side for Jake Johnson. And I believe he breaks down. An easy run for Ed McCullough. Has to make it. He's the winner, and the slow time naturally saving his car, 7.79. And Jake Johnson broke down. I think it's his rear end. The same thing happened at the Winternationals last year. We'll be back in just a moment. One of the big events of the day, the finals of the Pro Stock. To the winner, $13,325. There are two finalists. That is Don Garlits in the darker car, and the white car is Bill Jenkins, who qualified 17th. Garlits qualified 4th. The crowd is all up. This is one of the most popular events, and here we go. They're off. Looks like Jenkins got the start. Garlits coming at him, though. It's a very close race. It could be anybody's race. Here they come to the final, and it is... Bill Jenkins comes across just ahead of Don Garlits. A very popular win, as he is in a small, light car. His time, 9.68, 140.18 miles an hour. That great start won it for Bill Jenkins.
He's just signing his life away there. Bill Jenkins, winner of the Pro Stock. Congratulations. Your car did hold together, right?
Yeah, bud. Guess we got lucky today. Found out a few things wrong with it and got it working today.
It weren't working today?
It was working. No, we got it working today. It hadn't been working all this weekend, though.
Uh-huh.
And we got a little lucky today.
Now, is that why you qualified 17th, because the car wasn't working?
That's right, yeah. I was pretty confident that there was potential there if we could just get the car straightened out. We were going crooked, and a brand new car, and it was the first meet that's ever been run. And it takes a good bit of time to get the thing worked out. get all the bugs out of it.
Well, nice win after a few sort of...
Oh, after a hollow year, yeah.
Bill Jenkins, congratulations.
Thank you, bud.
Good. Winner, superstar.
And now to the semifinals of the Top Fuel Eliminator. And the ultimate winner goes $11,075. Here are the pairings for these two-match races. Carl Olson against Gary Cochran, and Dennis Baca faces Dale Funk. This is Carl Olson, who will be on the outside lane here. The car with a white on it, he qualified 29th. His opponent here, Gary Cochran, who qualified 15th, will be in the near lane. There is Carl Olson. Getting all set for the start. Wait a minute, seems to be a problem, and they're pushing away Gary Cochran's car. He has shut off his engine, and now Carl Olson has to run by himself. An easy breeze for Carl Olson will save his engine. And I believe the problem with Gary Cochran, he changed his engine between the quarterfinals and the semis. He probably had a loose fuel line. A tough break for Gary Cochran, a great break for Carl Olson. And that hand going up shows what I mean. Here we go again. It's Dennis Baca here. He'll be on the outside lane. He qualified second, certainly the favorite here, against Dale Funk, who qualified 28th. Dale will be on the near side. Crowd is up for this one. Baca on the outside, smoking away. There they go. Baca moves up, but Funk is having a problem. He's having engine problems. Easy breeze for Baca. So in the finals here, it'll be Dennis Baca against Carl Olson in the Top Fuel Eliminator. Now the finals of the funny cars coming up, and here's one of the drivers who we're able to squeeze over and talk to, Dale Poldy.
Dale, I was just talking to Ed. You guys have had some squabbles together, haven't you?
Yeah, we sure have. We've run each other a lot of times, and at Indy, he beat me in the finals there, and I got to try to beat him this time real hard. I got to win this one.
When's the last time you beat him?
I haven't really. I got to do it now.
Well, good luck to you.
There's Ed the Ace McCulloch in the blue car. He'll be in the near lane against Dale Poldy in the red car. This is a repeat of the pairings of the National Funny Car Eliminations held last year in Indianapolis. Should be quite a race. They're both backing up now. Buster Couch lining them up. Poldy on the outside. There they go. Poldy gets the start. But he begins to lose traction here. See the smoke coming up, and McCulloch's going to catch him. I believe McCulloch does it. He's the winner. 6.68 his time. 215.82 miles per hour. So Ed McCulloch wins the funny car division here and the $10,675 first prize money. And that's 2 in a row now over Poldy in a national championship. And here's our winner, Ed McCulloch, removing his fire mask here. He's going to be a mighty happy guy when it comes up.
We won her.
And a happy greeting.
Good job, Eddie. We did her again, baby. Bernie. Didn't make your time if we did her.
Top few finals coming up. We're trying to move over to talk to one of the finalists. Those are not the finalists we mean, by the way. We mean young 28-year-old Carl Olson, who will face Dennis Baca in the finals here for the Top Fuel Eliminator.
Well, Carl, you had a pretty good break in that last run against Gary Cochran when his car didn't leave the line. That saves yours, doesn't it?
Very definitely. Go 5 rounds in any race is real hard on equipment, and if you can get one free run, it really helps.
Now, what about this final against Dennis Baca? Have you raced against him?
I've raced Dennis once or twice in my whole life.
How have you done?
As a matter of fact, the truth is I don't remember. Only one I care about is the one that's coming up.
How's your car, okay?
Excellent. It's just in perfect condition.
Good. Good luck, Carl.
Thank you very much.
Well, right beside Dennis Baca's car, he's having quite a few problems. He's so busy, the driver, we didn't want to talk to him, but we have his son here, Dave Baca. And Dave, what's happened to your pop's car?
Well, when we ran, she left good, but then when we got to the other end, we wobbled a ringland. So we got to change it before next round. And
wobbled a what?
A ringland. That's burning the piston. See, if we don't fix it, it could be fatal, to the motor.
Do you think your pop will get it fixed in time?
I hope so. We got it halfway done.
Okay, good. Thank you a lot, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
If your pop gets in, think you'll win?
Sure do.
Okay.
Thank you.
And there's Dave's pop, Dennis, working desperately to get his car in shape for the finals coming up right after this message. Now to the finals of the top fuel eliminator. That's Dennis Baca. He will be on the near lane against Carl Olson, who will be on the far lane. Dennis Baca is the favorite, qualified second, has the fastest speed of the day, 231.95. It's Carl Olson on the far lane. They're getting all set, revving up. The crowd is up. Here comes the start. There they go, they're off. Dennis Baca goes up in smoke. Carl Olson goes shooting out ahead, and an easy victory for Carl Olson. 6.74 his time, 219.51 miles per hour. But the whole thing was decided on Dennis Baca's start. He simply had too much horsepower. Here it is again. Too much horsepower. His tires lost traction. That is that blue smoke there behind him, and he lost it right smack at the start. A tremendous victory for 28-year-old Carl Olson. And there's Carl going over to talk to Dennis Baca.
What are you going to do? Can't say anything except I'm disappointed. Light left. I know I left. I moved on you a little bit. I just went up in smoke.
Yeah, I thought that's what happened. Because I saw you out there.
I moved on you, and I thought I got her, and then she went up in smoke. I'm so disappointed. Congratulations.
And there he is, Carl Olson, who qualified 29th, wins his first national championship. Before leaving Pomona, another reminder that tomorrow afternoon at 2 Eastern Time, the Los Angeles Lakers meet the Baltimore Bullets on our NBA basketball game of the week, followed at 4:30 by the American Sportsman. The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Rune Arledge. Winternational Drag Racing Championships produced and directed by Chet Forty. International Toboggan Championship and Mr. World Contest produced by Bryce Wiseman. Cresta directed by Luvo Pacelli. Mr. World directed by Martin Morris. Highlights of the International Bikini Sports Competition produced by Doug Wilson. Directed by William Bennington. Production coordinator of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Dennis Lewin. Program administrator, John Martin. Associate directors, Joe Assetti and Bernie Hoffman. Technical directors, Werner Gunther and John Allen. Next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, we'll bring you the Daytona 125 stock car race, which serves as a qualifying race for next Sunday's Daytona 500. Also next Saturday, Champions on Ice, where some of the world's greatest figure skaters, past and present, perform in New York's Madison Square Garden. Now this is Bud Palmer saying so long from Pomona, California. Air travel arranged through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the airline of sports champions. Today's program was pre-recorded.